ladies and gents. We have our version 4.2 event wishes notice for our phase 1 banners. And of course, we're featuring Furina and Baizhu with their respective weapons on their weapon banner. And today we're going to talk about the value of each of these banners. And by the looks of it, it isn't as groundbreaking as Jovelet's one, but well, we're going to delve into which banners, like if you're trying to go for their constellations or what value it will bring to your account, depending if it's going to be a great banner. Of course, it's going to be a great banner because Furina is in there, but you know, you'll inevitably get the 4 stars alongside Furina. And if you're going for C1, then if you already have the C6 of each character, except for Charlotte here, then the value will be impacted. But that is case by case, and of course the weapon banner is always a scam, and it's looking a bit of a trap since you have the Jade Falls Splendor. Unless if you really want it, then I have nothing to say about it. But yeah, if you're trying to go for Furina's weapon, just be sure that you're prepared for whatever's going to happen. So let's delve in to the specifics of this banners, starting with Furina right here. We have Beidou, we have Kole, and we have Charlotte. For this banner specifically, it's not as good as Novelet's one with Xingqiu and Official, but we still have Beidou here. She's a great Electro sub DPS, and we have Kole, which is a Dendro character. That's all I can say about her. Her cons are good, but there are better 4-star Dendro characters like Yao Yao. It could have been better if it has Yao Yao in this banner instead of Kole, but if you're trying to get her cons, if you want her, then sure. But I'm telling you that the main focus here is Charlotte. Charlotte is going to be a team-wide healer that will easily front-load Furina's fanfare stacks. And if you don't have Mika, Charlotte is going to be a good healer for your Furina teams. And if you don't have Jean, if you don't have Baizhu, she's going to be a great pick while you're using Furina on their teams, especially on teams like that you can't use another Hydro like Nuvolet teams. You can't have, like if you're gonna use let's say Barbara because you don't have anyone, then you'll have 3 Hydro on your team, Nuvolet, Furina, and Barbara, and that's not really ideal. So if you have a Charlotte, then you're going to have a bonus elemental reaction to keep up with the stacks of your Nuvolet, if you have Nuvolet. Outside of Nuvolet teams, Charlotte is still going to be decent or great at best. But yeah, she's going to be your team-wide healer, and there's nothing really much to talk about. Let's talk about Furina though. Since she is the Hydro Archon, she's going to be the most broken character ever. I'm telling you. A lot of theory crafters have already said it. She's going to be a very powerful team-wide buffer. This is the first time we're going to be getting a team-wide buffer outside Kazuha, and we know how broken Kazuha is. And if we are telling you, some theory crafters out there that Furina puts Kazuha's buff into shame. Not really into shame, but she's giving 75% damage bonus for the entire team. And with Kazuha with 1000 EM can only give around 39-40% damage bonus, and that's already large. But Furina gives double of it, almost double of it. And yeah, of course there's a catch. There's HP manipulation involvement where your team is going to be most of the time at 75% of their HP if you have a healer, because she's continuously draining your HP. So it's ideal that you have a team-wide HP recovering character like Charlotte here. And since Furina is in this banner, and if you're going for her, of course, it's always detrimental to know that you are supposed to wish for the characters that you think you'll enjoy playing, then Furina is going to be your great pick. This banner is filled with good characters, of course. I'm not saying they're the best, but they're still good. It's not that they're not the best, they're already bad. No. Beidou is good, great. Kole, she's a great Dendro. She's Dendro. That's the catch here. And of course, Charlotte is going to be a good pick for your healer on Furina teams. And that's it for Furina banner. Let's talk about Baizhu though. He's the most slept on character in Genshin Impact. Let's be honest. He is a great. To be honest, placing him alongside Furina here, they're Hoyoverse knows what they're doing. Baizhu is a team-wide healer, and if you ever get Furina, then you try to get Baizhu, you have your account secured. Like Baizhu is a staple on every Dendro team, like Quicken Bloom or Hyper Bloom or whatever. Even outside Dendro teams, you can use him just as a healer, and damn, he's gonna pop. His healing is nothing to be slept on, and he also gives resistance reduction because of his noodle shields. Even though it's not the strongest shields, it gives resistance reduction. It's similar to Xingqiu, where he has his ranged swords that protect you, and in that case, for units like Sino, who gets knocked back easily but requires a lot of field time, if you have him, then he's gonna enjoy the resistance reduction, which is going to be great. And that's why Baizhu, there's nothing more to say rather than he's a good healer, and he's being used by a lot of players on their Dendro teams, even outside Dendro teams. And if you have him as a new player, he's gonna make sure that your team is going to be alive most of the time. And that's all about Baizhu. I really recommend pulling for him if you're trying to pick him up. But here's a question. Would you go for C1 Furina if you have the chance instead of Baizhu? My answer is go for C1 Furina. The thing is, even though this is just my opinion, but C1 Furina gives you 150 stacks immediately and increases the cap to 450, which is around 90% maximum. 90% or 95%, around there, damage bonus for the entire team just by having C1. And you start at 150 stacks, which will give you around immediately 30% damage bonus because it's half. 35, around there. It's half of the 75% damage bonus, which is going to be great. And if you have Furina at C1, you can still use Charlotte or other team-wide healers like Mika, for example. Right? If you have Baizhu though, then you have a healer. But if you only have a C0 Furina, then your stacks are still the same as a C0 Furina. What I'm telling here is Baizhu can be replaced by other teams. I'm not saying he's bad. I already gave him the kudos a while ago to him because he's great. But if you're trying to get C1 Furina, then I really recommend just go for C1 Furina. If you're thinking if you should get Baizhu or C1 Furina. And that's it. That's for the character banners. And now we have this weapon banner. Disclaimer again, if you're trying to go for a weapon, please be sure that you also want the other weapon in the banner. And the Jade Falls Splendor is a support 5-star weapon. And if you're trying to go for Furina's weapon, then be prepared that there's a chance that you'll get Baizhu's signature. And we don't like getting a weapon that you don't want. So weapon banner is a scam. But if you're trying to go for it, then we're still going to review it. The weapons here are great, except for the bell. You have Stringless, you have Sacrificial Sword, you have Dragon's Bane. You also have Sacrificial Fragments, which is great for Nahida. 4 out of 5 is great. Like, Bell is just balancing the tip of the scale so that it's not going to be that good. Because 4-star weapons here are great. Like, they're phenomenal. Of course, for Xingqiu, Sacrificial Sword is great. You have Dragon's Bane for Shangling, for Hu Tao, And you have sacrificial fragments for Nahida, for Sucrose. You also have stringless for Frischel, for Venti. Like, there's a lot of weapons here that's going to be phenomenal for your characters, and which characters are very used and powerful. And for the 5 stars, let's talk about Furina's signature. Furina's signature is controversial. It's said that it's underperforming for some reason. So, let's read. The Dawn and Dusk by the Lake. When the equipping character's current HP increases or decreases, which is always going to be happening with Furina, elemental skill damage dealt will be increased by 8%, max 3 stacks, which is 24. We're going to be 24% damage increase on top of your Golden Troop, which will be giving 70. Yeah, it's like Festering Desire, but that one gives 32%. But there's another effect that it increases your HP if other party members increases or decreases their HP. So the max HP increases by 12%, max 2 stacks, which is 24% HP increase, which is big per se, because HP scaling characters scale well with HP, unlike attack. The difference, because HP is a larger base. If you have a larger base and you take a percentage of it, then you'll have better damage. That's why if you get more HP, the damage is going to be significantly or noticeably higher. And if you combine both, you get damage bonus and HP. This is a great damage weapon. Of course, it has 88.2% crit damage, very high. But what it is lacking here is energy recharge. Furina needs a lot of energy recharge for her to burst off cooldown. Around 160 to 180%. And even then, you might want more ER so that you can play Furina comfortably on a lot of teams. You don't like your Furina being stuck on a double Hydro comp, right? So you have this weapon that gives a lot of damage but lacks utility from the energy recharge. So you're forced to go for an ER Sands if you don't have a lot of ER substats on your artifact, right? So with this, you have a lot of damage, but you're going to be compromising by using ER Sands or a lot of ER substats, which is going to be balancing your stat distribution. So the damage that this will give is phenomenal, but keep in mind that your energy needs is going to be high, and you're going to need a lot of ER. That's it. That's just it. If you got this weapon and you're giving this to Furina, I mean Furina is the only one who could use this the best. Then yeah, you'll need a lot of ER. So yeah, that's it. Good luck to everyone who's going to be pulling for them. This is just a game. Please don't overspend. If you want to support the Foyoverse by I mean the what am I talking about? But yeah, you're trying to go for the Hydro Archon, then yeah, she has a lot of potential. Baizhu, of course, he's great. He's always great. The weapon banner, the 4 stars are great, but the 5 stars, there's Fateful Splendor. If you don't like it, then I suggest you don't pull for it. Okay, so that's it. Ciao.